Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. As we gear up towards the launch of the Tarbiyya program, after discussions with a lot of people who are interested in the program and people who have advised me, I am making this Q&A video delving deeper into the program itself and answering the most asked questions. Inshallah, we'll be taking 5 questions which I pray will answer most of the queries for those who are interested in signing up. So the first question is, who is the Tarbiyya program designed for? The Tarbiyya program is an opportunity for students who aspire to pursue further Islamic education alongside their professional or academic endeavours. Building on the madrasa system that most students start off with, this program exposes students to a broader and deeper Islamic corpus that aims to enhance their iman and comprehension of more nuanced topics within the Islamic discourse. It aims to challenge students by critically engaging with more advanced areas of the Islamic paradigm and foster their ability to engage in such discourse in a constructive manner. A distinct feature of this program is, alongside the Islamic discourse, we also wish to engage with the Western ideology and discourse in an academic manner with the objective to understand their underlying assumptions and demonstrate the superiority of Islam over these foundations. It is important to state that this is not a substitute for an Alamiya program or full-time study of Islamic science. Rather, it is a carefully designed curriculum to further one's study of Islam in the West as they work or study in a part-time manner. The next question is, what content is covered in the program? The program is designed to give students access to the wider Islamic corpus, some of which they will be familiar with and others that they will not. The first of which is community and social life. This area looks at discussing within our day-to-day lives as we work, interact with Muslims and non-Muslims alike in different environments. Topics discussed include university and work life, how to navigate free mixing environments, LGBTQ, how should we present Islam through our character, tackling certain philosophies may be found in the workplace itself, such as liberalism and feminism, to name a few. The second major area is history, discussing specific incidents and stories from the lives of the prophets, including the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and extracting benefits from them. The rich Islamic history that is unknown beyond the Khulafatul Rashidin and how Islam thrived and developed from those empires. The impact of other states and other religions on Islam, such as the Crusades, to more recent history such as colonialism and its impact till today, the demise of the Caliphate and its effect, and where is Islam in the West heading towards today. The third major area of topic is world and its sciences, and this is covering a large area, but to give a flavour of what will be covered, this is divided into 3 subtopics. The first is the relationship between Islam and science, discussing the philosophy of science and the scientific method which is commonly discussed today. This includes topics such as Darwin's evolution of theory and how that impacts on Islam. The second topic area is the greater area of Islam and its development as a science in theology. Different schools of thought within Islam and how we understand Allah, the major figures and their general development until now. And these include the main schools of theology such as Atharism, Ash'arism and Maturidism. Different subsects within Islam and how they differ from Orthodox Islam. And the third subtopic area is of comparative religion. And this is where we look at religions such as Christianity, Judaism, atheism, and look at their main beliefs, major figures, and development of their school of thought or ideology as time has come along. The fourth major area that we'll be looking at is the fundamentals of Islam, and these are covering more familiar aspects such as pillars of Islam and pillars of Iman, but more so expanding on areas such as tafsir, hadith and fiqh. Just to take an example, with fiqh, we'll be looking at the main schools of thought within each, who are the major figureheads and books, and how did they develop as a science, and the importance within the Islamic tradition today. Some time will be spent in this area so that students are accurately aware of their positive impact and addressing some issues that they may commonly hear that comes about. The fifth major area is where we talk about individual development, tazkiyah, where we focus on addressing issues of the heart and how we may become closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Issues that we are working on a daily basis and purifying our actions. And these include such as developing forgiveness, mercy, humility, spirituality, looking after our heart and identifying the cures to its diseases. The final area of discussion is looking at miscellaneous topics that don't fit around any of the above specifically, and these include topics such as leadership in Islam, ego in Islam, Islamic economics and finance, such as crypto, for example. The next question is, what is the structure of a typical class? Each class will last for 75 minutes in duration. The first section, which is the group reading, going for about 15 to 20 minutes, where we'll discuss some of the key points from the book that we are reading, try and derive some key points of benefit, and finally looking at some questions that we can discuss as a class and benefit from. The second segment we allocate for 10 to 15 minutes is we will look at some interesting bit of news in the community or in the current affairs, and we'll try and discuss some of the implications and impacts of such events to get the students involved and to discuss what they feel about certain topic. The final segment, which will last for 50 minutes approximately, is reserved for the delivery of the content for the day. The style of the lesson itself will vary from lesson to lesson based on the delivery and the objectives for that lesson. So on some days, for example, we may have a format where we have 25 minutes of the lecture, and then the final 25 minutes we may have a discussion or answer some questions and answers between ourselves. On other days we might have a whole 50 minutes dedicated to a lecture with questions filtered throughout. On other days we might have a debate style where we'll just focus on one question and the students will be asked to prepare some content or some points for that day. The idea is to diversify the lesson delivery with the expectation that as we accumulate more knowledge and we begin to establish connections between all these different topics, the lesson delivery will vary further and the students will benefit greatly. It is worth noting that there are plans to occasionally meet in person if possible, and to have social events such as sports or meals accompanied by lessons, with the aim to foster a network and strengthen bonds between us, as well as finally to invite special guests who are experts in their fields to deliver lectures on relevant topics. The next question is, what commitment is expected from me? As mentioned before, this program is designed for those who are proactively keen to further their knowledge of Islam. In terms of how that looks within the class, there are 3 minimum expectations as part of the learning process. Number 1, as part of the reading segment, all students are expected to read a minimum of 15 to 20 pages of the book we are covering every week and attempt to derive some points of benefit or some questions that can be discussed at the following lesson. Number 2, in the case a student misses the class, they are expected to catch up by accessing the recording by themselves. The responsibility of this rests solely on their shoulders. And lastly, if the teacher assigns any additional reading material or preparation for the next class, the expectation is for the student to try and complete the task in the best manner they can. And the last question, what are the course objectives of the program? The aim for each student in this program is to achieve 2 objectives. Number 1 is to instill confidence in the Islamic Orthodox position such that it reaffirms their faith in Allah and His Messenger, and being able to affirm its truth and being able to begin to defend it against opposing ideas. This can be shown via familiarity of the Islamic corpus and beginning to navigate through them independently, or via developing critical thinking skills that will facilitate their independent learning in the future. The second objective is to equip them with the ability to critically examine and evaluate Western ideas or philosophies such that they can identify the weaknesses in their arguments and appreciate the superiority or strength of Islam that lies in opposition to it. In short, being confident in their Islamic identity and faith by understanding it and being able to begin to defend it is the goal of Objective 1. And for Objective 2 is recognizing the fallacies and weaknesses in all ideas that contradict Islam and strengthening their iman therein as well. That is the end of the Q&A. For any additional information and to register your interest and sign up, please visit ilhaam.institute.